Welcome to Frank's Fractal Jam, a series where I invite inspiring artists and musicians from the Fractal community for an interview and a musical jam. Each guest shares a personal Fractal preset that you can download for free on the G66 website.
Fractal is overwhelming because you have a lot of things to choose from, and for some people that's too many.
Today my guest is the incredible Marcel Coenen from the Netherlands. Marcel is known for his powerful playing, incredible technique and high-energy performances. Truly one of the most respected guitar players in the European metal scene. He's also a long-time Fractal user with a killer tone and a very distinctive sound. So I'm really happy to welcome Marcel to Frank's Fractal Jam. Hi Marcel, it's so great to see you here. Thank you so much for joining Frank's Fractal Jam.
Thank you, man. It's all my pleasure. So thank you for inviting me.
Marcel, what Fractal unit are you using right now and why did you choose it?
I'm using several. I have an XFX3 for live use. Huh? So live I'm using the XFX3 with an FT12 out gear board and using that for on the stage. And I prefer it that way because on stages, you know, especially the little stages, yes, where people stand really in front, you know, they drink beer and all the stuff. And I don't want to put my FM3 there in front because, you know, or FM9. So yeah, that's and here in the studio I have an FM9 on the floor. So with this I'm recording everything and doing my studio work.
You play a lot of live shows, and how do you build your perfect Fractal preset for the stage? Which amps do you prefer, and do you use custom cap IRs? And how do you make sure your sound really works in a live situation?
I definitely make my own presets, so I'm not using the stock presets on the Fractal, so I make my own. I made presets for all my different bands, so I have a couple of tribute bands, you know, also, because nowadays tribute is booming, and you can play a lot with tribute acts. So I have a Pantera tribute, which I really made the sound exactly like Dimebag did it in the past, you know, and that sounds really, really killer.
Which amp model do you use with Dimebag's sound?
For the Pantera stuff, that's a Cameron amp that I use for there.
Oh, okay.
Cameron, and actually, but the way I build it is also with an EQ in front to boost the amp, like the EQ going this way, you know, that to get more gain of it. And then I also have a post EQ to take that out again, so to have a little bit of that crunch that you get for that metal tone.
Yeah, very nice idea.
Yeah, and then for POWERSLAVE, my Iron Maiden tribute, that's fun band to play in. I just used I think the Marcel JM Pre. That's actually the golden preamp that I used to have also for many years.
Yeah.
That's a great preamp, man. I fucking love that thing. So that's why I use it also still in my XFX as a model, and that's also what I used in this jam. So I use also this little preamp.
I had it also for many years in real life. And many years, and I loved it. I really loved it. And then I switched to, because of John Petrucci, I switched to Mesa gear, you know, Tri-Axis 290 and huge 4x12, two 4x12 caps, and then it was crazy.
I mean, live I'm still using a Marshall cabinet, so I still have a 4x12 Marshall cabinet, and I have a Matrix FX1000 power amp. So that's I'm using for live. I have several outputs go to my power amp, and that doesn't have IRs, of course, because
I saw that in your preset. So you use out 3 for the Matrix and Marshall cap.
Right.
People can download your preset so they will see and try
Right.
it for themselves. Why do you prefer the Marshall cap and Matrix and don't use, for example, FR?
I mean, I use both. I sometimes use FR, and but mostly I like a cabinet and power amp better. For some reason, it just powers more. It just has more energy, and I love that. So that's, and I mean, I like the best of both worlds. You know, it's I'm an old school guy, so I like the power behind me, but to the front of house, I can give 2 XLRs and he's happy. You know, so actually the best of both worlds.
And what about the cap IRs? Which one do you use?
I'm using Ownhammer cabinet IRs that I bought many years ago, and I really dig them because they sound exactly like my cabinet, like my Marshall cabinet.
Awesome.
In my Marshall cabinet, I have like mixed GT75 and V30 speakers, and the V30 speakers are end 90s V30 speakers, so they sound really awesome. And the Combi, I have them in an X pattern in my cabinet, and I fucking love that sound. You know, that has really all the frequencies that I need for my playing. And I found IRs that sound for 95% the same. So these I bought from Ownhammer. They were in the Rockbox, I think, compilation from Ownhammer. Yeah, I bought these. I mean it was just a couple of bucks. It was not expensive. Yeah.
Do you use a lot of different presets? For example, in your Pantera cover band?
In my Pantera, I have 4 presets.
24, okay.
Several scenes, because I have one preset that has a detuned guitar, so tuned down to D there, and it has an acoustic patch. That's for the song Flots that we play in that set. Then I have one preset that I play the most songs with, which is just the standard preset. I call it the Pantera standard.
Yeah.
And there's presets for different songs, like for example Hollow we have in the set. There's this harmonizer that does the A minor thing, you know, that to make it a twin voiced, and I think I have one for Strength Beyond Strength, because there's also a solo that has these weird kind of pitch effects going, and also with in a different preset. So
What would you recommend to someone switching from traditional amps to Fractal or another modeler or profiler for the first time? Is it a culture shock or?
I would say see it the same way as building a traditional rig. This is how I did it. I thought, okay, you have the chain, you know, with you can place your blocks, and I saw it the same as I always did my rigs, you know, in the real world. So you had the preamp, you had a power amp. Okay, now the preamp power amp is then in one block. I had to say it like that, but the power amp had an effects loop. So the effects loop, I see then as put it after the preamp chain or after the amp chain, and everything before. And that's also why I put the cabinet on the end, because that's how it is in the real world, the same, you know, like it comes out in the end of the speaker. So
makes sense.
This is my logical thinking in that, and I think when you see it that way, it is pretty easy to navigate, and I think Fractal is overwhelming because you have a lot of things to choose from, right?
Endless possibilities.
And for some people that's too many. It is just too many. But I mean, focus on the amps that you like. Focus really on the amps that you like, that you like also in the real world. So if you like Marshalls, you look at the Marshall amps and find your liking there. With IRs the same. Look for combinations that you like in your speaker cabinets that you have. This is what I did, you know. I didn't scroll to 2000 IRs. I just bought some that I like and put them in.
Yeah.
So this is already helping a lot, I think, and of course it is cool when you have time enough. It is cool to explore other things, you know, and to find different tones. But I mean, the first thing is really to find the thing that you like and make that happen. And I mean, in Fractal world, everything is possible, you know. So
Yeah. I did the same. Did the same way. Choose the amps which I had in real world. I had a Marshall Plexi or a VHT amp or Mesa Tri-Axis or the JMP. The Marshall, I love that, and it sounds killer in the Fractal. And I did the same chain as in real world, you know, tube screamer in front, etc., etc. So.
Yeah, instead of a drive block, I use the there's like the input boost, and there you can also choose and mostly I use the neutral boost for my rhythm sound. You saw that in my preset. I mean, I'm not using the rhythm sound in the backing track because I do use the lead sound there, But I mean, I when I switch to that scene to say the rhythm sound, then I have the neutral boost on, and that's actually how I boost the little thing. So that saves a block because you don't have to use a drive block, and I mean, it sounds really great. So this way you can still boost the amp a little bit and make it even better. And I think especially that neutral one doesn't kill the
bottom,
the low end.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I like about it.
That's exactly what Marcus Foley said. He don't like a drive in front of the amp because it also in real world, it's most of the time it kills the bottom end. It's not tight, and his playing is very tight and precise. And so he used 12 dB boost, and it sounds killer, and it's very dynamic as well.
Yes, yeah, I love that. And I mean, this worked also for me better than an overdrive or a tube screamer or something.
Okay,
that's just you know how I mean in the real life, when I remember I had the JMP1, I just used the Overdrive 2 channel. But the Overdrive 2 channel, I always liked the Overdrive 1 more, but it had too less gain for me, you know, in the real world. So I used the Overdrive 2, and with an EQ after it, I took the things out that I didn't like from the OD2. But this is how I did it in the real world. But now in Fractal, I can use the OD1 because that's the one I like, to say it like that. And then just get more gain with the little boost. So that's great.
Yeah, Marcel, it's long time ago, but you performed at the Jason Becker's Not Dead Yet concert alongside incredible players like Guthrie Govan, Kiko Loureiro, Andy James, Marcus Foley, and many, many more. Atma Anur on drums. Yeah. That must have been a very special moment. What did that experience mean to you personally as a musician?
Yeah, this was one of the highlights of my life because I'm a huge Jason Becker fan. You know, I mean, when I started playing, I mean, the first things I listened was, of course, Yngwie and Gary Moore and all these players. But then when the whole Shrapnel thing came, Jason Becker was one of my personal favorites because I really loved his playing. You know, that was like all these classical influence things.
Yeah, wonderful.
And tremendous. So I mean, I always wanted to play a song of his, you know, and we record that. So we did, I think, Altitudes at that show.
Oh, wonderful!
Heavy to play, but great. You know, I love it.
His fluid playing and his vibrato and killer tone, and it was so. Jason Becker was one of a kind, so awesome.
Yeah, the cool thing also live, of course, Jason himself was looking via a webcam to the show at the moment we were playing.
Yeah.
So that was special, of course. I mean, of course, with his disability, but still looking. So we knew that he was enjoying the show, you know, and seeing all those players go crazy there on stage. So that was a special moment, yeah.
Dude, your playing combines precision, speed, and expression. Do you have any tips or exercises for developing that balance?
Try to learn as many possible music styles. I really learned blues. My playing comes from a lot of blues. You know, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Gary Moore. These were players that influenced me in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I mean, blues-based players. You know, Iron Maiden are blues-based players, for instance. And Iron Maiden, the solos are blues-based. So everything that I learned in my old school lessons were all blues-based. So that's a good way of getting tone. You know, to get really a tone going. Yeah. And then afterwards, when I got into the Paul Gilbert and Jason Becker stuff, that was really like the techniques, you know, the fast alternate picking and stuff like that.
The people, all the people only want to play fast, and faster.
This thing is really my lifesaver. You know, this is an old school one.
Old school
metronome. You know, like the really irritating TikTok thing. But this thing really, I mean, I had a huge one in the past, you know, like this big one.
The Melzel, the big one Melzel.
It was really a huge thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, that one I had standing on my desk, and that was constantly moving, and I constantly played along with that to get timing, you know, and to get tight. And this helped a lot. And use your ears. You know, that's the best advice I can give. Listen to your playing, and if you can't listen while you're playing, then just record it and listen it back, and try to listen really with ears to criticize yourself and work on it. You know, that's a great advice, because you know, especially, I mean, I teach and I see it in my students, and I tell them that all the time, and they are really getting there slowly. You know, like really developing their ear a little bit, and you should be able to know what your playing is, to find your tone, your specialty. But I mean, this is really only possible when you are own with your instrument, you know, like feeling the instrument and feeling the music. But this comes in years, you know, of playing. But you can already work on that by just listening and just judging your playing by ear, and this is important.
Yeah, listening is the most important learning tool, maybe, because if you don't have imagination of how you want to sound and how many notes you want to play, then it's not possible to do it. So,
yeah, exactly.
What are you currently working on? Any new albums, tours, or projects coming up?
Yeah, I'm actually working on a new album, a new solo album. So the last one I did came out 2025, and that was the X. This album here, I can show it. That looks like this.
Yeah, awesome.
The CD version. But this came out in 2025. I mean, I have Guitar Talk, that's the first. Then I have Disambiguation, this is a mini album with just 4 songs, like an EP. Then I have Color Journey, which was released in 2006. And then I have Resurrection, that came out in 2023. I have the X, that came out 25. So actually, I'm the last years I'm busy in making new solo records.
Awesome.
And before that, I had, of course, bands which I made records, you know, like Suncage and Limo Voice. Those were my prog bands. Yeah. So it was really prog metal, you know, all these 2 bands. So yeah.
And other projects with bands?
Yeah, well, I am playing sometimes for Arian. So Arian is from Ian Lucassen's project, and he invites me sometimes to play on the shows, which
Very
is
nice.
Cool. And these are cool shows. These are recorded also for DVD. So there are several DVDs where I also am on, where you can see me playing.
Awesome.
So that's a project. Another project is a Belgian band called Channel Zero, which I performed a couple of times with, and also will perform this year on a few festivals. And that is just fun, you know, because they're good friends. And then, as I said, some tribute bands, my own stuff. I also have my band around me, you know, so it's called Marcel Coenen and Friends. So we're focusing on performing with that band, of course, for a couple of shows. So we're going to work on the set list and doing this, yeah.
Marcel, as a Dutch guitarist, I have to ask, is there any typical Dutch food that you really love? maybe traditional Dutch food or?
Yeah, typical Dutch. You know, I mean, the stampot, we call that. You know, that's just like mashed potatoes with some vegetables and that all in one. You know, like that's something typical Dutch. But I mean, I'm not eating that every day. I like, you know, what I like to cook also and like to do is Mexican food, Indian food, you know, Thai food, that kind of stuff. So I'm more like also you know, from every source of the world. I like to cook stuff. So Dutch food is. Yeah, I mean, sometimes when we're in the mood, I make it, but it is not that often.
I lived in Bussum 5 years. Bussum, near. I studied in Hilversum and lived in Bussum, and 20 meters away was a Mexican restaurant, and it was killer. And the Indonesian restaurants, oh my God. So I think I have to visit you soon.
Yeah, man, I love to cook that kind of stuff. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I try to cook more nowadays because, you know, being healthy and trying to live healthy, you know, that's better to cook your own food and to know what you eat.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm trying already for a few years now to live a bit of stuff. Yeah.
Helps growing the beard, maybe. Healthy.
Yeah, I mean, my hair is all gone, so I had to compensate a little bit.
Yeah, same here. So Marcel, thank you so much for being part of Frank's Fractal Jam. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me. And it's all my pleasure. So and for everybody out there, if you like my presets, give it a thumbs up. And you can follow me, of course, on YouTube or on Facebook or on Instagram or whatever you like. And write me a message if you like. So no problem.
Hope we meet at Guitar Summit this year.
Probably,
Are you there? Probably.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Would be awesome.
Again, so I'll be there. Just have to book the hotel still, but I will do that soon too.
Okay, dude. See you soon. And now let's make some music together.
Yes, exactly. So here's the jam, people.
Thank you so much for watching Frank's Fractal Jam. You can download Marcel's free Fractal preset on the G66 website, link in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the next episode. Who should I invite next? Let me know in the comments below. Got any questions? Drop them in the comments as well. See you next time, and don't forget, get your kicks at G66.